All right, here we go. We are back. Celtics live post-game. It is preseason. So I don't want to overreact here, but we do have a Celtics dub to react to. We do have some positives to pull. And I was saying in my own head as we were watching this game, I was thinking, you know what? Every negative thing that happens, I'm thinking, you know what? It's just preseason. Doesn't really matter. Like when that second quarter got sloppy, or Josh Richardson has a bad night. Other guys don't look too sharp. I'm thinking, it's just preseason. And then good things happen, and I'm out here saying, oh my God, let's go. That's here to stay. We can take that as a fact. So, needless to say, I was overreacting to it. I was in it. What a great preseason game. Like I tweeted it out halfway through the game too. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I completely keep forgetting that this is a preseason game. Like it just had that feeling of, and I don't know, maybe it's because, things are different. We have a whole new team, a new coach, a new culture, so many new faces, everything like that. Maybe that's why I kept forgetting that this was, in fact, a preseason game. It had that feeling and that vibe of like a regular season game. Now, didn't have a feeling of like a great regular season game or a playoff game or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But I think we're lying if we said that just felt like a normal preseason game. Like that had some hype. That felt pretty damn good, and the Celtics did get the win. No victory music yet. We're gonna save that victory music. If you guys are OGs and you were in the streams last year, we have the victory song that we will play after wins, just not preseason. But let's get into this game. So the Celtics obviously take that win. Romeo Langford with a big bucket at the end, 98-97. I see the chat going already. We're going to keep up with the chat. I will say, guys, at any point tonight, if you do feel like donating to the show, make sure to super chat, and you guys can skip the line in any sort of chat. And I have a feeling now that we can do that and we have that offering on here on YouTube, I think that that's going to be useful because you guys know how bad I am at keeping up with chat. But let's get to the box score. You guys know the drill. We'll get to the box score, and then we're going to get into some chat here. So looking at the box score again, Celtics did take the win. I don't think it looked like that for, probably 2 3/8 of that game. I don't know. Like, that did not look like a Celtics win. The beginning of the game looked like they came out hot, and then until the end of the game, wasn't exactly loving what I was seeing, but the Celtics did get the win. Jaylen Brown led the way with 25 points. He had +4 in the plus minus as well. Jason Tatum, 18 points, 9 boards from him. Honestly, Jaylen Brown's probably, in terms of the starters here, probably my biggest bright spot from the offensive end. 25 points, you can't really, deny that. I mean, he looked good shooting the ball. He was scoring multiple ways, so I do love to see that. But then if we scroll a little bit further down here and look at Aaron Nesmith, this kid looked unbelievable. 80% from the field, 4 of 5, 2 of 3 from 3 for 10 points, and he had some big buckets, ladies and gentlemen. He had some big buckets. So let's get into the chat here. Again, if you do want to support the show, make sure to drop a super chat and you'll get your shout out, and we'll be on our way. So AC saying we are back. That might have been the most exciting preseason game of NBA history. Wongy saying we're back. AC saying hey Wongy, welcome. Yeah, see, I love the community. I love that we have the regulars tuning back in. Susuke says crazy shot from Langford, huge rebounding in the clutch. I like this. I liked it too, and it's funny because my biggest thing that I liked was when they went to the bench, they had, normal sort of NBA players. They weren't relying on second, third year guys. At the end of the game, it was those guys that we didn't like on the bench last year coming through. So I love to see it. Gear is checking in. Lemon says that was a dope preseason game to watch. Gear says, screw the Jays. We need to build around Aaron Nesmith. Now, I'm not going to lie. Aaron Nesmith, I've been hard on. Who hasn't been hard on Aaron Nesmith in the past? When I say hard on, I'm not saying like you rag on him and say he stinks. But last year when he came in, oh my God, we are lying to ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, if we thought that he looked comfortable on the offensive end or he looked like someone that could, carry an offense himself. In the Summer League, in this preseason game, it's like a completely different Aaron Nesmith, like 1,000,000% a completely different Aaron Nesmith, and we love to see that because this is a kid that they drafted in the first round. We're looking for him to step up and actually be a part of this offense, and honestly, he's heading that way. Like, this guy, I can't imagine if he has another game like this in the preseason and keeps doing this, that he's going to have a hard time getting minutes. Because last year, he got plenty of minutes, right? And then all of a sudden, his minutes went away. And then his minutes came back. and then his minutes went away. Nothing consistent. If we get a consistent Aaron Nesmith, that's massive to this team. And that's for a team that we didn't even think we needed that Aaron Nesmith. We already got deeper with Jay Rich, with Schroeder, with Al Horford now coming off the bench. Like, we already got deeper. If we can pluck something out of Aaron Nesmith, pluck something out of Romeo Langford, damn, this team just got a hell of a lot deeper. Gear saying Jay Rich had his Fournier game. I'm not worried about Jay Rich. It's definitely not the debut that he wanted. You know what I mean? Josh Richardson, 1 of 8. Somehow he led the team in plus minus, which just kind of blows my mind. Like, he looked like he was just hot garbage out there. I'm not worried about him, though. I will say, if he keeps doing that, he's going to work himself out of the rotation with the way Nesmith played. But let's give, and you guys know I'm rooting for Jay Rich here, so I'm giving him another game. Saki saying Jay Rich was what we were hoping for. I am wishing that Sam Hauser could be a corner spot up shooter for us. Yeah, a nice shooter would be great here. AC says victory beer, not for preseason. I would whoop out a victory beer on a Monday if this was regular season. I promise you that. But no, not today. We just got a water here, or is it water? I don't really know. All right, let's keep going here. Ubi saying we back. Jag saying starting the season off right, preseason or not. What a finish. Yeah, guys, go check out Jag's channel too. Some good Celtics content over there. Bradley saying Jay Rich is just horrible. He did not look good. He did not look good at all. Like, oh my God. I'm bummed to be a guy that's really rooting for Jay Rich after tonight. Let's see. Bai says Romeo Finals MVP this season. Hey, I loved seeing it because that's a guy that, like, people are counting out. I've counted out. If you haven't counted Romeo Langford out at some point in his career so far, you're the crazy one, not the people that have almost given up on him at times, because he's always injured, never on the court. But I love seeing the fact that his jumper looks better. He was getting rebounds. He's so long. If he can step up and do something, and I'm not going to say that after one preseason game, I'm totally confident that he can do that. But if he can step up and do that, wow, sign me up. That's going to be a huge addition to this team. Phil says, sup, Evan. John saying smart, sweating, losing his starting spot. Hey, Dennis Schroeder, I didn't even talk about. That guy plays with a swagger. He looked pretty damn good out there. Let's see, AC saying, so freaking glad this chat is back. Let's talk Aaron Nesmith. Eclipse saying, was there a buzzer beater? I saw they only won by 1 point, but didn't catch the game. So how it ended was they were down by 2 with, 13 seconds left? They caused a steal. Romeo Langford passed to Pritchard. Pritchard pump fake, got a guy in the air, passed it back to Romeo Langford. Romeo Langford hit a 3 to take a 1-point lead, and then the rest was history. So it wasn't a buzzer beater, Eclipse. It was, a shot with 13 seconds left on the clock. BD saying breakout season for Pritchard. I said that in the YouTube video as well. I do think that could be proven right there, and I think a lot of us could be proven right. Deshaun says Richardson pickup is a reminiscent of Jeff Teague last year. Guys, I'm not ready, and I'm biased toward Jay Rich. Like, that's one of my guys this year. That's one of my guys, but I'm definitely not going to count him out after one bad preseason game, for damn sure. Tatum's getting the MVP this season. Watch, I hope so, okay? AC says, I was just grumbling about Langford and his defensive mishaps, but all he did was drain 2 clutch threes in the 4th. Deshaun saying, womp womp, played well. Yeah, Grant Williams had a decent game. I like seeing him slim out there, and I will say this. That's enough Grant Williams for me. You know what I mean? Didn't play in the first half, got some late minutes. Like, I would not be a Grant Williams hater if he played, I don't know, how many minutes did he play tonight? If he played 9 minutes, like if he played 6 to 9 minutes a night, I wouldn't hate him. It's when the Celtics are forced to play Grant Williams 24 minutes, or, some nights when he would get starts and BS like that, that's when I start to hate him. B Smooth checking in. Guys, go check out B Smooth as well. He says, LOL, the Celtics won. They did. It did not look like they were going to, but they did. AC saying Richardson was a force on D. Yeah, 100%. He was a force on D, which is damn nice to see. Let's see. Obi says, I know it's preseason, but it's good to see JB not fade away mid-game in the new offense. Yeah, hey. And again, we know it's preseason. Like, we totally get that. But you're totally right. Like, it's preseason, but when something looks good, it's better than it looking bad. And hey, we got Jags donating 10 through Super Chat. He says, just showing my guy some love. What a game. What a finish. Again, guys. If you guys are going to super chat, I'm giving the shout-outs that are necessary, and you guys have to go check out Jags to Riches on YouTube. We'll play it again so you guys can see the username there. Go check him out. He's got some good Celtics content, so go head over there, and thank you very much, Jags. If you guys do want to super chat, make sure to do so. It definitely supports the channel, but shout-out to my guy, Jags. Definitely a big guy trying to get the community together here. I know it's one of his big things, and I want to collab with you, Jags, pretty damn soon. So, guys, go check him out. Let's see. Lemon saying Udoka needs some credit for the win too. Hey, I'm not trying to, you know, even diminish the fact that that was an amazingly coached game as well. It's just like, if I get into, you guys know this too. If I were to get into, you know, the whole, oh my God, the coaching was so good in this, that's when you guys start coming at me going, Ev, it's a preseason game. Can you pump the brakes, pal? Because, yeah, I mean, he coached super, super well, like 1,000,000%. He called timeouts when we needed to have the timeouts. It was crazy. I hadn't seen that in, what, how many years? 5 years from Brad Stevens, when it's like, hey, timeout, timeout. I'm a fan on the couch saying timeout, timeout. It's a preseason game in Udoka. You guys know I'm bad at pronouncing names, so I apologize if I have butchered his name multiple times. But yeah, I mean, he coached a phenomenal game too. The rotation looked good, everything like that. AC coming in with a 10 as well. You guys are killing it tonight. Thank you so much. AC says donation will be more than Grant Williams will bring. Hey, if Grant Williams, you know, if he can play 6 minutes tonight and do something positive, we'll celebrate womp womps for other reasons. It'll be a positive womp womp. Because, you know, I didn't really mind Grant Williams tonight, to be completely honest. Like, I don't like Grant. I don't think he has a true role yet. But he looked slimmed down. He didn't look terrible. He kind of went in, made a steal right away. So, hey, whatever. We'll give it to him, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and bash Grant in the first preseason game, in a game that he looked pretty damn good. You guys already know I have a huge shtick, and I'm like, when Grant Williams does something good, I'm kind of like, I didn't see that. Did you see that? But tonight I got to give credit where it's due. He just didn't do anything bad, so I'm not going to sit here and rag on him. All right, we got Suzuki saying, but in the clutch he gelled pretty well because we counted on Neesmith and Langford, who were not very comfortable last year shooting. This is the 76ers dream. Yeah, 100%. Let's see, Eclipse saying, y'all see the dunk Tatum got. Let me see if I can pull that up, because that was a great, like, that was one of those, okay, this is a ridiculous comp, but I'm going for it, okay? That was almost like those Blake Griffin dunks. Yeah, I told you this is going to be a ridiculous comp. That was like one of those Blake Griffin dunks where he doesn't touch the rim. Like, I was looking at this and I was like, what are we looking at here? It was good to see. I liked it. So here we go. I'll put it up here. We got Tatum right now, and Wendell Carter's here under the hoop. I know for whatever reason, Twitter's always like blurry for the first few seconds, but here we go. We got a Tatum pump fakes over Harris, up and over Wendell Carter Jr. Look at the spin move. Like, this is what I like to see. You remember Tatum's, before this keeps going, you guys remember like Tatum's floaters? We didn't see many of those tonight. We saw him do this, and that's what I like to see. He says, hey, a bigger guy at the rim? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, let me dunk it on you. And I say it's the Blake Griffin comparison because it was one of those dunks where he just doesn't touch the rim. I don't mean to call Jason Tatum Blake Griffin, but Jason Tatum's better than Blake Griffin. What? Let's see. Phil says only 19 assists to the team. Tatum 2, Brown 3. Ime talked about playmaking from the pillars. Hey, that's a good point. And I think that we can all, like, I started the show saying it too. This was not the best look in terms of offensive, you know, crispness and sharpness. Like, a lot looked like it needed some work, especially just right off the bat. You know, Marcus Smart, 2 turnovers. They still have a lot of work to do, 100%. But, you know, we got the win. And that makes you forget about those passes. But, you know, the next time we see that, all of a sudden we're going to see a tough. I guess what I'm trying to say is if that keeps happening, it's going to keep being more and more present. Let's see, BD saying Wancho shout out. Also, yeah, that's one of my guys this year too. It's like I'm riding him and Jay Rich. Jay Rich didn't play too well tonight, but Wancho, other than a couple times where he looked a little sluggish on defense, if I'm being honest, and then that one time where Dennis Schroeder gave him an absolute easy put in, you know, he makes a steal and then he fumbles it out of bounds. Other than that, Wancho, I loved what I saw at him, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I do. I'm really excited for him. And that's a guy that, you know, like, I made the video on the channel. Like, I just reacted to his highlights, knew really nothing about him, and was like, you know what, there's something there. And again, that was one that you traded absolutely nothing that was going to hurt you. So it was a low-risk scenario. All right, I got to catch up on the chat here, guys. Let's skip ahead just a little bit. Deshaun says, what do you think was up with Rob? Rob didn't look too bad to me. He's the type of guy that I think completely needs a rhythm. And when I say too bad, other than like on the offensive end. Robert Williams looked all right. He had a few blocks. What did he have? He had 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, 1 foul. Like, he didn't look terrible to me. But he's the type of guy, what I was trying to say is that he's the type of guy that needs to get into a rhythm. And I honestly believe that. Like, Robert Williams needs to get into a rhythm. And if he isn't in a rhythm, he's not going to play well. First game of the year, preseason, I'm not worried about that just now. Not just yet. Heshi says Grant looked quick on his feet, but still can't score. Yeah, that spin move, like hook shot he had and came, like, he's the only guy. I told you guys I wouldn't rag on Grant Williams. I'm going to do it anyways. He's the only guy I've seen in the NBA legitimately, like, once a game, airball a layup. And, like, airball a layup. You know what I mean? So I said I wasn't going to rag on him, but I guess I can't go a stream without ragging on Grant. Let's see what else we got here. Phil says, good win to start the preseason. Mike's dropping the fires. Wang Yi saying, who do you think our shooter will be in the second unit? Aaron Nesmith? Like, it's got to be Aaron Nesmith. I look at this team. So let's look at this roster here. I'll pull it up again. If we look at this roster, right? Who is that second unit shooter? And even if you swap out Jay Rich to start or Schroeder to start with Juancho, however they want to do it, like, you look at this, who is going to be that shooter? And that's why when I made my Garrison Matthews videos, I was kind of like, you know, if he pans out, I'm not saying he's going to, that's a role that the team could 100% embrace. Like, they still didn't find that shooter. Aaron Nesmith, I think, is going to hopefully grow into that. Who knows, maybe Romeo Langford grows into that, but everyone that wants to say Pritchard's going to be the second unit shooter or going to be the shooter of this team, you got to remember, Pritchard's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. It's going to be hard for Pritchard to come up and, get catch and shoot threes. Not impossible, but going to be hard. So I think it's got to be Aaron Nesmith, and I'm hoping that he can kind of live up to that. Clip saying, is Grant Bum Williams on this team? Still not gonna lie, I hate him. I'm a diehard Celtics fan, but I hate him. I'm in the same boat, but I will be honest with him, right? Like, I'm not gonna knock him in a night like tonight. I'm not saying he brought a Thanksgiving turkey to the table, but he sure didn't take anything away from the table, you know? So if he's gonna be a nothing out there for 9 minutes and not really mess up, totally fine with that. I wish he wasn't playing, because I think that, you know, if you have to play him at any point, you know, there's better NBA players out there, but I'm not going to rag on him tonight, except for that layup, because that was like something I just remembered. I was like, oh, great. AC says, by the way, how great was it to see Cantor and Horford back home? I know Cantor is a liability on D, but love both those guys. I like Cantor's attitude, but he was a liability on D, but that's where the coaching comes into play. It's like, I was starting to get a little frustrated when they were just allowing Cole Anthony to do the switch at the top of the key and continuously just score like the exact same way. So it was a little frustrating there, but they waned off it, I guess. Only 19 assists, but they shot 35%. Wong, he says, I have a game you can play this season. Drink every time Scal compares Schroeder to Rondo. He was getting like a hard on comparing Schroeder to Rondo. He's, look at the way that he walks. Look at how he walks and the motion. And, you know, did you see him get in the middle of that fight there? It's like, dude, I get it. Like they're similar, but let's not go down the road of, oh my God, that's a Rondo 2.0. Like, I think they're very different in many ways as well. Let's see. XV saying, what happened to Jabari? I guess he's just not playing. He was there tonight. He was there. He was active, just not playing. Clip saying Grant is a bum. Ubi says, Grant the next Draymond. Can't believe I ever believed that. Guys, that's the last of the negative of the Grant, all right? We're not going to rag on Grant tonight. We're not ragging on Grant tonight. Deshaun saying Jalen's handles are also becoming very elite. Yeah, Jaylen Brown, like, to me, he's going to be one of those guys that can, hopefully, I guess, propel this team to another level, because if, you know, you have Jason Tatum, who is your top 10 player, right? He's a top 10 player. I believe it. I think that, you know, if you don't believe that, then you at least probably admit that he's pretty damn close, right? Jaylen Brown is that guy that needs to be the one that takes that leap into the cemented sort of, you know, 17, 16, 15 player in the league if you're ranking them. And based on what we're seeing, and based on what we've seen in years past too, I don't want to just sugarcoat it either. Like, it's like Jaylen Brown has stunk at things in the past. He used to stink at shooting. He used to stink at passing. He used to go to the hoop and just jump and not know what to do, right? He used to stink at dribbling and transition. But Jaylen Brown identifies what he's bad at in the offseason. He identifies what he's bad at, and then all of a sudden, he just brings it to a whole nother level the next year. And that's what's crazy to me. It's like this guy completely is so self-aware okay, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to think I'm a shooter. Think Marcus Smart, right? You think Marcus Smart has ever told himself, I'm not a shooter? I don't think so. Jaylen Brown looks himself in the mirror and says, hey, you know what? It's you. You're the problem. Let's fix this. And he goes out and does it. Like, he fixes the shooting. He's now really good in transition. Way better passer. We saw that handle tonight at one point when he was like through his legs, and I was like looking at the TV, and I think my TV glitched because he was dribbling so fast. It was crazy to see. And then it's like, you know what? That's another thing that people knocked him for. That's another thing that people said, oh, you know, he can't do this. He comes back and says, you know what? Yeah, I can do it. And yeah, I'm going to do it. So big props to Jaylen. I think that he takes that leap. That's the biggest contributing factor to the Celtics taking the leap. Because Jason Tatum being an MVP candidate and everything like that, like, that's not going to be that much better than last year. Like, Jason Tatum went off last year. A more consistent version of that? Sure. But if Jaylen Brown takes the leap, that's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about. But guys, I do have to remind you, I'm back in the streaming game. I got to get used to it, but make sure to hit that like button. If you are new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And then I've appreciated all the super chats tonight, especially from my guys AC and Jags. We'll give him another shout out here. Jags with the 10, and then AC just a couple minutes later with the 10 as well. Guys, if you do want to support the channel, support me, make sure to hit that super chat button. I appreciate it 100%. Let's get to some more of your chats here, though. All right, Nelky saying, was starting in Cantor defense is atrocious. It is atrocious. I was fine with Juancho starting. Like, I think Juancho went in and kind of did the type of thing that he needed to do. Does that make sense? Like, he didn't play terribly. He wasn't he wasn't really the guy that do we have issues here? I'm seeing in the chat we got some issues. We good? I'm seeing in the chat we got some lag. Juancho came in and he was the type of guy to me that was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, no, I can do this. I'm not, you don't have to worry about it. I got this. So I was glad to see that. How we doing? We good with the connection? I just got a text saying the connection was failing. You guys good? All right, let's get to some more chat here. Let's see. Wong, you saying, do you think we see an offense do we see an offense is the best form of defense mentality in this season? I think this team's going to play really good defense. So do you think we'll see an offense is the best form of defense mentality this season? Do you mean defense is the best form of offense? Because I could see that. I think this team's really locked in defensively. AC says, positive Grant talk. He had a nice three, stepped into a passing lane for a steal, 100%. The problem is he didn't really have a position. He doesn't have a position. Yeah, and it is positionless basketball, right? Like, we can completely admit that this league is turning into sort of positionless basketball, but you still want to have a position. Like, you still have a point guard. You still have a big man. You still have a wing player. Grant Williams kind of like, I don't really know what to do. Let's see. Ichi saying, honestly, I hope they trade Cantor because he's kind of a liability. He is a liability. He's going to be, and I've said it before, he's going to be a guy that's like a tool for this team, right? He's going to be the guy that says, you know what, all right, if we need him here, if we need him in this spot, we can use him, but we're not going to like depend on him to be a defensive guy. Eclipse says, Grant can't Williams, Grant sucks Williams, Grant contract too big Williams, always the trash. Ubi saying Jaylen has been improving every single year, which is crazy because usually after a young player gets the bag, they stop working. Jaylen has not stopped working, 100%. Maul says Jaylen plays better in a fast pace with Rob and Dennis, and that's one of the biggest things that I think is really going to, you know, sort of to take off this year. Like, I think that they play really, really well. And that's one thing that I talked about in the Jaylen versus Karl Anthony Towns video that I did. It's kind of like, you know what? I think that, you know, Karl Anthony Towns, great player, but I wouldn't trade Jaylen for him right now. Like, Jaylen Brown fits so much better in this offense, and I don't know if Karl Anthony Towns is 100% better than him, you know? So it's crazy. To even say that. KJ saying, we back, gotta love that fight at the end. I want a Celtics team that's ready to throw hands. I do. Even when Josh Richardson was getting in the face of like Wendell Carter at one point, I was pumped. All right, looks like we're all right. Eclipse saying there was a little lag, but we're fine. Hey, you guys know me. Sometimes this stream just hits a lag and I'm like, oh, well, I don't know what to tell you. Computer's breaking, but I think we should be all right. David saying these guys have to gel. Maul saying Dennis, Jaylen, and Rob core works well. Yeah, it definitely does. AC saying my daughter Ella is psyched you're back. Any chance for a quick shout out? Shout out to Ella, AC's daughter. Ella, if you're watching this, thank you for tuning in. I know that you're always watching these streams, so shout out to you, and go Celtics this year. Big shout out to Ella. Of course, AC, you know I got you with that shout out. 100%. You don't have to ask that. David saying a lot of new faces, definitely, and they do have to gel. You're right. Lemon saying, after seeing this game, what would you make the starting 5 for next game? You guys are going to think I'm crazy, and you're going to think I'm biased, but I think after seeing this game, you throw Josh Richardson into the starting lineup. I know, that's crazy, and I am sort of biased towards him. I want him to be good. I want him to be well within this offense, but to me, you know, he comes off the bench. He looked cold. He never really got in a rhythm. If you throw him in as a guy that, you know, doesn't have to, I guess he just is in there from Jump Street. You have Tatum Brown playing alongside of him. You'd see something different, and you'd kind of get your answer quicker. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be a Jeff Teague for this team? Is he going to step up for this team? I say throw him in the starting lineup. That's a little bit of bias in me wanting him to really play well for the Celtics, but also some thought going in there. So that would be my starting lineup. Just switch out Juancho and him. So I know you guys probably going to disagree with that, but that's what I'm feeling. Evan saying, I like to see Pritchard at the point guard rather than Smart. Hey, Pritchard looked all right. Schroeder looked good. Marcus Smart did not look that great as the point guard. He looked decent. I'm not going to say that he looked terrible, but Marcus Smart did not look excellent at the point guard position. And I think that I thought that was going to be a guy that can play. You know what I mean? Like a play point guard. I made a video on it. I've talked about it. I thought that was going to be a player that was able to, you know, be, all right, you know, I'm the team's point guard. Easy. It was a slow start there. He kind of shirted up, but I'm hoping Marcus Smart can step up just a little bit there because he definitely needs to. General saying Grant looked good tonight, played good defense, hit an open 3. That missed hook shot was the only bad thing he did, and that was bad though. Jay Clark saying OMG Grant and Cantor have to be the last resorts. I need to see Jabari play next game. Did Jabari like do something to Brad Stevens? He didn't play last year, right? He didn't get in this game. It's a little weird to me that he doesn't even get a shot. Like, and I hope to see him in the preseason, right? But it's weird that he wouldn't even play in this game. Like, you ran Cantor into the ground this game, and his Cantor ended up playing almost 10 minutes, and Jabari Parker 0 minutes. Like, if you look at these minutes down here, if we look at these minutes, you know, in the bottom left here, I get it. Ryan Arch and Amano, 0 minutes, makes sense. Bruno Fernando, makes sense. Sam Hauser, makes sense. Garrison Matthews, I would have liked to see him, makes sense. Morgan, makes sense. Theo, makes sense. Jabari Parker, give him a shot. Like, do we not remember that Jabari Parker did come in at times and look pretty good last year? It's weird to me that he's not even close to the rotation. So, I don't know. It is a little weird. It is a little weird to see that. Deshaun says, am I a casual when I say I feel like Jalen is already better than Jason? Don't stone me to death, but ever since last year, the eye test tells me he could be. Remember the 40 plus in 3 quarters could have been 50? I would say, no, you're not a casual. I would say that it's still like, if you were to tell me when it's all said and done, right? After these 2 careers are over, and you're like, oh, Jason Tatum, or Jaylen Brown, I should say, was better than Jason Tatum, that wouldn't surprise me, okay? But I'm not there yet. Like, I think Jason Tatum is far and away clearly the cookie-cutter superstar in this NBA, and I mean that, like, as a compliment. Jaylen Brown, the great thing about him is you still don't completely know what you're getting from Jaylen Brown. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. We're starting to see what he is, but that's a guy that, like I've talked about earlier in the stream, too, does everything. Like, does everything. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, Jaylen Brown could be amazing at something. You know, he's really good at everything right now. What is Jaylen Brown? You know, he started as an athletic guy. Now he's a scorer. He's a guy that can run in transition now. It's like, he seems like he's the type of guy where he's just scratching the surface as to how good he can actually be. Whereas Jason Tatum, you know what he's going to be when he becomes great. But I would say Jaylen is still second to Tatum, but not by much. Like, they have a 1A and 1B duo right now. Like, don't sleep on Jaylen Brown. Actually, you know what? This just dropped today. Keep sleeping on Jaylen Brown. This is the Keep Sleeping hoodie, guys. If you guys like it, let me know. I'll drop the link for you guys. It just dropped today. Tristan is saying, I'd see Jaylen more consistent, but Tatum at 100% is better than JB at 100%. I think that's a perfect way to put it, actually. Jay Clark saying, totally agree. Josh had a rough night. Phil saying, Bruno, give him minutes next game. He looked decent in the Summer League at times. Like, he did. So I would be all right with seeing him get some minutes, because I do think with Robert Williams and Al Horford, if they're going to be your sole sort of 1-2 big men, you're going to need that third guy. And tonight, I would have told you before this game that Cantor's going to be that third guy that, you know, can play a certain amount of minutes, but Cantor's going to be an absolute mismatch in multiple games. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, Cantor's the third guy, you know? Like, I think that we could definitely be looking at like a Bruno or something else. What I did like, and I don't know if I would say that this is going to be consistent, but Juancho mixing it up with the big guys as well. Jay Clark saying, I think Smart tweaked his knee. Wangi saying, side note, somebody tell Mo Wagner to chill. True is saying, salute. AC saying, thank you. My starting five, Smart, Jalen Tatum, Al Horford, and Time Lord. Yeah, guys, drop your starting five. I know I answered it. Let me know what you think. Starting five for next game in the comments here. And make sure to like the stream as well. You can't comment unless you like the stream. All right? All right, that's the deal we're making. We're shaking hands. We're shaking both hands. You can't comment your starting five until you like it. But yeah, make sure to drop a like here and subscribe if you are new. And super chat if you're feeling generous. Ichi saying, yeah, Smart had 2 turnovers in less than 2 minutes. Yeah, and he just looked like he was a little nervous. Like, he wasn't committing to his passes. You know what I mean? Maul saying the same thing. True is saying Jabari fighting for a roster spot. It's weird because I don't know if he should be. Like, from what we've seen in Jabari Parker on the Celtics, in Celtic Green, it's like the dude hasn't been terrible. Like, you know what you're getting. A guy that can make something happen. He could go out there and be like kind of a nothing. But I would just say he's the type of guy that I'm surprised that you don't even just throw him in there and do something. Mitch saying, what up? What's going on? He's saying Jalen went off tonight. There is another Evan in the chat. Parquet Podcast. Shout out to Mark, right? Saying Bruno instead of Cantor. Yeah, I would have taken that. AC, and I suspect Ime is going to work most of those guys in on Saturday who didn't play tonight. I think he's splitting time. Now, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with splitting time. But one thing I've always said, and I don't know if I don't know. I don't love the idea of, you're feeling things out in the preseason. Now, I know that's exactly what it's for. Just hear me out for a second. To me, with this type of a Celtics team, right, I think you got to take what you think you have and try to run with it as much as you can, because you have a brand new team. You need this team to be sort of firing on all cylinders immediately. You're gonna, if you have to wait for the chemistry to develop, I feel like you're gonna be, putting yourself behind the 8 ball come the season. So I think they got to try and figure out their starting lineup, run that starting lineup so that they can get some chemistry with each other, right? And they can start to feel each other out and everything like that, rather than trying to plug in plays and see who plays well with what. Not like, no, you got to go with your gut as the new coach and almost force these guys into working with each other, because you have a lot of good ball players here, more than you had last year. So I wish that they would do that. If they go and play Bruno 20 minutes next game and Jabari 15, it's like, oh, well, you're kind of giving me the Brad Stevens feel of, you're just kind of throwing the kitchen sink out there and seeing what works, right? Maybe I'm being too harsh there. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. Mitch saying the ball movement was solid all around as well. Much better to see than last year. Yeah, and we talked about how it was 19 assists, which isn't a crazy number. Like 19 assists and 16 turnovers, flat ratio there. But this team only shot 35% from the field and 35% from 3, right? Like, they weren't making shots. That assist number, if that percentage just goes up, like look at the Magic. They shot 40 and 40 from the field. Like, if that percentage just goes up a little bit, we're looking at way more assists, to be completely honest. Let's see. Jay Clark saying Bruno did not do good Bruno did good against mismatches in the summer league. He shifts his feet well. Yeah, he's an athletic big. I think he's going to be a guy that can definitely play and kind of to help this team. But I think they got to figure out who that third guy is going to be, because if you have Bruno, like I've said in the past, if you guys have tuned in for a while, if you have Bruno, if you have Jabari, and you have Enes Kanter all on the bench wondering if I'm going to play tonight, when am I going to play, how much am I going to play, like, it's not going to help. These guys have to know their sort of role and have an established role. The Celtics are like one of those few teams in the league that for years just have the starting 5, and then it's like, oh, well, Grant Williams could be the 6th man this game, or, in years past, Marcus Smart's the 6th man. It's like, no, having a role helps. And if you ever played organized sports, like growing up, or if you still do or anything like that, it's like, if you know your role, you know how to prepare better. And I truly believe that. All right, we got some starting lineups here. So Ubi says Smart, JB, JT, Al, and Rob. Double big lineup. I don't hate the double big lineup. I just say this. If you go double big lineup, then I ask you what next, right? Then you got to hope for an Bruno Fernando or an Enes Kanter to look all right. You know what I mean? So that's where I come out on the, oh boy, I don't hate the double big lineup when you look at it like that. But then when you look at your 6th, 7th, and 8th man, then I start going, okay, you know what? Again, I don't hate the lineup, but I don't know what I like. I don't know if I like what I see coming up, if you're looking at, okay, well, we just exhausted Al Horford, we just exhausted Robert Williams, who's playing next? That's where you kind of lose me. But I don't hate the lineup itself. It's a matter of what comes next. Mitch saying Jabari is just a walking bucket once in a while. That's his value. But and that's good, right? Like, I mean, I'm not asking him to go out there and play 25 minutes. If you need to throw him in there and try and score, like, give him a shot. Ichi saying starting 5, Dennis, Smart, Brown, Tatum, and Williams. I like that one. I think going 2 guards is better than going 2 bigs. Obviously, you're going to have nights where you need to play 2 bigs, or you're playing a big down low, and Robert Williams is kind of undersized even though he plays bigger. I do like that, but I would say you're relying on then Peyton Pritchard a lot, which I think is okay. You're relying on Peyton Pritchard and Josh Richardson off the bench. I think that's better than relying on, if you start 2 bigs and you go Cantor off the bench. Evan is saying, or no, here, we skipped one. We got Lemon saying Schroeder, JB, Smart, Tatum, and Horford. I like that one. Evan saying Pritchard, Smart, Brown, Tatum, Rob, and Will. I just read that as Pritchard, Smart, Tatum, Brown, and then Rob and Williams. I was like, dude, you started 6 guys. That's how to win. But no, I do like that lineup as well. That's a lineup of the future for damn sure. Phil saying Schroeder, JB, JT, Time Lord, and Neesmith. And Neesmith, wouldn't that be nice? Our first round pick, Neesmith, ends up being a starter. That'd be awesome. Jay Clark saying Smart, Josh, Jalen, Jason, and Rob. That's my starting lineup, Jay. Like, that's my starting lineup. And we say that Josh Richardson looked terrible tonight. Like, as a big Josh Richardson guy, I admit that he looked terrible, but his defense still was there. Like, he had that big block. He looked like he was playing tough. So I'm still okay with, giving him that shot. I know a lot of you guys seem to be like, he's out of here, he stinks, but I'm still totally in on Josh Richardson, even after a terrible performance tonight. I'm not going to sit here and be blinded by, or have like a blind love towards him. Like, if he starts stinking consistently, I will sure as hell let you guys know. And believe me, like, if he starts stinking, I can admit that I'm wrong. But I would say that I'm giving a little bit more time. And I think that the best way to kind of throw him into the fire is to start him there. Yeah, Evan saying I like that for the regular season. It's a good point too. Like, if you go Pritchard starting, you're gonna want to do that in the regular. Like, okay, here, I'll say this. Ready? This is gonna take me down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but hey, whatever, we're doing it. If you go and start like a Neesmith or a Pritchard, and you're thinking long term, then I'm telling you better do that night 1. I think you do. I think you better do that night 1, because that's how you build the chemistry. That's how you say, you know what? Go out there and fail. Go out there and make a turnover. We're sticking with you. If you go and throw Peyton Pritchard, I feel like, into the starting lineup after the deadline or halfway through, then you're going to be like, oh, man, we just threw a second-year guy. Is he ready for it? You have all these questions flooding in. Now, I don't think that they're going to roll with that, Evan. I don't think they're going to roll with the Pritchard starting lineup, but I will say, if they're going to do that type of thing, if they're going to do that for, Neesmith or Langford, if he steps up, or Pritchard, anything like that, you better do it sooner than later. Let the kid make mistakes. Let him just get in there and play. Because if you're starting one of him, then hey, you're rolling with him. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to start your second-year guy night 1 and then yank him, halfway through the year. No, you're sticking with that. All right, Deshaun says Smart, Neesmith, the Jays, and Rob. I like that. So this is my thing. I go Smart, the Jays, and Rob. Those are my sort of, 4, right? Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Robert Williams. A lot of you guys are throwing out Neesmith. A lot of you guys are throwing out throw Schroeder out there. A lot of you guys are saying bring in Al and Rob into the starting lineup. I don't hate any of this, but to me, if you're not swapping out if you're not adding in like a shooting guard in there, then I feel like you're either plucking and making the point guard bench players now a little bit too thin if you're starting 2 point guards like Schroeder and Smart, or if you go and start Al Horford and Robert Williams, then I feel like you're making the big man position a little too thin there, because then you have to rely on now Enes Kanter or Fernando off the bench, that type of thing. I'm thinking you figure out that 2 guard. Is it Neesmith? Is it Josh Richardson? Like, that's the position I think you worry about. And if you want to say, hey, put Robert Williams on the bench and start Horford, that's fine with me too. I'm not saying it's against Horford. I'm just talking about the double big lineup. But I think that 2 guard is the spot where it's like, it's sort of okay, that's the question. I think you're rolling with Marcus Smart right now. I think you need to roll with Marcus Smart for now, because he hasn't done anything too wrong to lose that spot, and he is probably going to be named captain. Who do you guys think is going to be captain, by the way? They're going to name 2 captains. I don't think they announced him yet. But I think you roll with Smart. Obviously, the Jays are going to start. I would go, there's probably 75% of the people want Robert Williams to start. Maybe, what would we call it? I don't know. 50-50 in terms of Schroeder and Richardson. At that 2. I think the 2 guards where the sort of, debate can be made. KJ saying Ev was worried about going up against Monday Night Football. I told him, I go, hey man, we had a great, and we did, guys. We had a great pre-game show. Jack, Tim, Sam, KJ popped in there for a little bit. If you guys aren't tuning into that before the Celtics game, you're crazy as well, because that's a great show. They had a great viewership, record-breaking viewership, so shout out to those guys. They definitely put on a good show, and I texted KJ, I was like, hey man, we're going up against Monday Night Football. We're running the stream anyway, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're not going to have too many people in here. But the real ones are checking in. We got a few super chats from the real ones. And yeah, if you do consider yourself real, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this stream. How many likes are we at now? How many likes are we at now? Because, you know, you guys, if you don't like this stream, I say it all the time. You're a Sixers fan. You're Kyrie Irving's biggest fan. You know, you just hate me, which is tough. You know, I can't do anything about that, but it's tough if you guys hate me, because I can't do anything about it. We're at 29 likes. Let's see if we can get to 35 real quick. But I have a feeling the guys that are still in here have already liked the video. Evan says, I'm iffy about Langford. Yeah, I mean, I am too. And even after a good showing tonight, like, Langford is still, and even if, okay, right? Even if Langford looks incredible on the court, right? Would you bet your life savings that you're, like, gonna trust that he's gonna play a whole year? He hasn't proven to stay healthy at all, right? So you're crazy if you're like, oh no, Langford, lock him in as this team's future young guy. Like, I want to see a consistent Langford, both, you know, on the court, but then just injury wise. Like, even if he doesn't go out there, isn't a stud on the court, give me a Langford that just is consistently available. The best availability. I want myself for that one. The best ability is availability, and Langford stinks at that so far, and he's young, so I'm being a little hard on him now, but, you know, give me some consistency, and then we can talk about him being your future, right? He looked good tonight. I'll take his play on the court. Just get on the court. You say you're high on Pritchard, though. I'm definitely high on Pritchard, 100%. But I think the guys, it's not a knock on Pritchard if he doesn't start. It's the guys he has to go through. He has to go through the heart and soul of this team, Marcus Smart. He has to go through one of the best players in this team now, Dennis Schroeder, to get that starting job. And I think that, you know, Peyton Pritchard as a second-year guy, you're not causing any harm to him or his growth by just playing him off the bench and giving him maybe a little bit of a bump, right, when it comes to minutes and responsibility. So I don't think it's like a harm. Does that make sense, Evan? You know what I mean? AC says Richardson didn't shoot well, but again, he had 3 really good defensive plays, 2 that led to turnovers, and was a plus 11. He wasn't bad. Yeah, he wasn't bad, but for me to say he's going to be the 3rd best scorer on the team, it didn't look like it should have looked. You know what I mean? Late saying Schroeder looks like a good fit already, just needs to make shots. Yeah, he did. He was playing with swagger, playing with confidence. He was making plays happen. Like, I was 100% in on Schroeder the minute he started playing. I was like, you know, when a guy gets the ball, and he was playing in preseason, he ended up going in with the second unit and whatnot, but he got the ball and just dribbled around and just looked a little bit different. Like, he looked comfortable. He looked like he had some swag, that type of thing. That I was in on. Like, immediately, I was like, oh, no, he's feeling himself. He feels good. On the contrary there, you had, like, Josh Richardson, who would get the ball and kind of look like, oh, what's he gonna do? That type of thing. So that's why I feel like I'm pretty confident, hook, line, and sinker, like, Schroeder's gonna be a good fit here. And that's been top, like, oh, how is he going to be a good fit? Is he not? Like, I think he's going to be a good fit. Like, he wins basketball games, he'll get his money long-term. I don't know if he's going to stay here long-term, but if he is a contributing factor to a really good basketball team, he'll get his money, because people have seen what he's done in the past. He doesn't need to score 20 points here. All right, a few more comments, guys, and I think we are going to wrap it up. Another great stream. I mean, you guys really come through. We are competing with Monday Night Football tonight, but, you know, we got some Celtics basketball fans in here, and I love it. Like, all of my buddies in my fantasy chat and whatnot are, like, watching the football game. They're talking about the Chargers and the Raiders, and I'm just sitting there quiet. I'm like, oh, I can't tell these guys I'm watching Celtics preseason basketball, because they're all a bunch of big football guys and whatnot. They know I love the Celtics, though. But, yeah, shout out to you guys for tuning in. Let's get a couple of last comments in here. And we are here live after every Celtics game if you guys are new, so thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. But Phil says, end of bench, Waterboys, Grant and Romeo. I love it. Shout out to Carol Ann Julian for subscribing. Yeah, so we got these notifications and whatnot too. We've made some improvements to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. You know, as the channel grows and as we do this more and more, we're making more and more improvements to the stream, and I can't wait for the regular season. So thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for the few $10 that we got from AC and Jags. We'll pop those guys. Those guys are my guys. So we'll pop them up again. We have AC, and then we had Jags. Go check those guys out if you haven't. Shout out to them for the super chats. We are here live every single Celtics game. Let me get to some more chat. I keep saying that. Evan's saying, I love talking to another Evan. My name's Evan. We go Evan. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Here's the thing. I play Marcus Smart at point guard, or at the 2 guard, and put put Pritchard or Dennis at the point. Yeah, I don't hate that. I just feel like I wonder if you then kind of sacrifice or get to a point where it's like, now what do we do? Because now it's like, okay, who's your backup point guard then? Is it Marcus Smart or Schroeder? But then who's your? It's a better situation than the bigs, 100%. Like I gave you that, and the Celtics would be able to survive with that 1,000,000%. But I still feel like, to me it's just like you're not sacrificing anything with Pritchard on the bench. Ubi saying, imagine being a Sixers fan in 2021. Here, how about a womp womp for the Sixers fans? We usually save that for Grant Williams when we played good today. Jordan's saying, Neesmith is an absolute sniper. He looked good. He looked confident. That's what we wanted to see out of Neesmith. That's what we needed to see out of him. Grant says, I think the Celtics should start Parker. He's a better fit at playing the 40. I don't know why he doesn't get his shot, Graham. Like, why does he not get his shot? It does not make sense to me why Jabari Parker didn't play a single second in this game. Like, seriously, it does not make sense to me. I'm not saying he needs to start. Like, I get it. You're big on him too. But 0 minutes from Jabari Parker in a preseason game, in the opening preseason game, meaning if he played bad, you have the rest of the preseason to be like, all right, you're on the bench. They didn't even give him a shot tonight. Is he secretly injured? Like, am I the dumb one here? I don't know. Phil says, Ev, do play-by-play live streams. We did one of those last year. And you guys liked it. So what do you guys think? Should we do that? Maybe we'll talk about that in another stream. We got more people in here at the start of the stream or whatnot. But I would be down to do sort of like a watch along and whatnot and just chat about the Celtics. Obviously, I can't show you guys the Celtics. I could probably flash up like a screen share like this and show some highlights mid-game. But I'm not trying to get sued by the NBA. That's a fight that I'd probably lose. So, yeah, we could definitely do sort of a play-by-play and whatnot. AC says, thanks for a great opener, Ev. Just awesome. You're back. It's awesome that we're back. We've seen that in the chat. Oh, we're back. Like, dudes, that's what it is. It's we're back. I'm not back. Well, I mean, I guess I am back. I'd be lying if I said I'm not. But we're back. The community's back. We got the post-game streams coming. And, yeah, the channel has really taken off, guys, all thanks to you guys. So I'm very, very excited. Like, this is a preseason game, and we have so much to talk about. Now, I will say, it was a great preseason game. But, yeah, we're going to be here live after every single Celtics game. You guys already know the deal. All right, a couple more comments, then we're calling it a night. Graham says the starting lineup should be Robert Williams, Jabari Parker, Tatum, Brown, and Smart. Don't hate that. I really do wish Jabari Parker would get some minutes, though. Evan saying the backup would be the one that you just don't start between. Yeah, no, I totally get it. But to me, it's like if you start a Josh Richardson, now you can go Dennis. Like, so, already, if you have your starter, and again, I feel like I'm just playing devil's advocate because I don't hate the take, Evan. If you start Peyton Pritchard and Marcus Smart, for example, then you really only have that one ball handler to come in off the bench. And that's all I mean by getting thin, right? It's a better situation than double big, but I don't hate it. Like, if they decided to do that, I'm not going to lose sleep at night at all. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Pritchard get a bigger and bigger role like that. Late saying Neesmith was great. A lot of clutch buckets tonight. Looked very confident. Bryant tuning in saying Rob should start over Al. Yeah, I think so too. Like I'm locked in on Rob. He didn't have the best showing tonight, but he's a guy that needs to get in a rhythm. And again, if you make him go out there and he becomes a starter last year, and they yank him and put Al over him this year, it's gonna do things to his head. Like, Robert Williams is the starter. He needs to remain the starter, in my opinion. But all right, guys, that is going to conclude the night. Like, what a great stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. What a great game. That was a great preseason game. Make sure to tune in live here after every single Celtics game. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button if you have not already. And, yeah, we'll catch you in the next stream. I think they got, who do they have on Saturday? They are playing Saturday. The opposing team is escaping me right now. But I will see you guys in the next one. I'm pretty excited about it. Big things to come from these streams. We really hit the ground running last year, but we're going to hit the ground sprinting this year. I can promise you that. Big things planned. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the super chats, all the support, everything like that. I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Peace out.